praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, HaKadosh. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. It means He is. Yahweh Shai is the name of His Son. It means He is who saves. HaKadosh is the name of the Holy Spirit in Hebrew. This lesson is going to be called Give Not Thy Strength Unto a Woman. And you, what's this? I ain't going to do that now. Strength. Ooh. Let me see if I can find it online. One sec. Right, so it's in a it's in, let's see, let me come out of this. Going into the book of Proverbs. Scrolling up. 31. What did I see it? 3 and 7. So, to start from the start, the words of the king Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. And to understand that, let's carry on. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink. So there's, we as Hebrews, we are called to be people of, as Apostle Tahar was saying it, and I'll go into it. I think he said it was in Acts 17, and that we're supposed to be stoic in nature, but strength, giving your strength unto a woman is, let's get that, understand what it means by giving her strength. Obviously, you can't literally give someone your strength. So what does it mean to give someone your strength? So let's have a look at the word for strength. Your strength, your ability, your efficiency, your wealth. Strong's definition, probably force, virtue, value, strength, able, activity, yeah. So it's your agency. It's basically not allowing a woman to have power over you, your power, your control. So we're called not to be given to allow a woman to direct our actions. And we're, as I said before, we are to have a stoic nature. So let's go into Acts. I believe it was 17. I'm going to read the whole chapter because I'm not sure exactly where it was in Acts. Now, let me just scan it real quick because I read some of this before. Start with 5. But the Jews, when we talk about Jews, we're talking about I don't believe that's right. But it's more like the Pharisees, I take it. Believe not, moved with envy, took upon unto them certain lewd fellows of the baser sort, and gathered a company, and sent all the city on an uproar, and assaulted the house of Jason, and sought to bring them out to the people. And when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren unto the rulers of the city, crying that these that have turned the world upside down are come hither also, whom Jason hath received, and these all do contrary to the decrees of Caesar, saying that, obviously that these were the Edomite Hebrews, because they're in bed with the, obviously there were certain Jakes that was in bed with them as well, but yeah, they were the ill sort, the ones that the same scribes, I would gather, that Yahweh Shai, bumped into. Let's put it that way, saying that there is another king, one Yahweh Shai, and they troubled the people and the rulers of the city when they heard these things, and when they had taken security of Jason of the other, they let them go. And the brethren immediately set away Paul and Silas by night unto Berea, who coming thither went into the synagogue of the Jews. These were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind, and searched the scriptures daily whether those things were so. So Paul went to preach the gospel to this first place, which I can't remember, Amphipolis and Apollonia, and he almost caught himself in a lot of trouble. Had to sneak out, went to Berea, and these people were like, okay, let me check this, let me cross check this with the scriptures, which is what we're all called to do. Let's see. Therefore many of them believed also of honourable women, which were Greeks, and of men, not of a few. But when the Jews of Thessalonica had knowledge that the word of God was preached of Paul at Berea, they came thither also and stirred up the people. And then immediately the brethren sent away Paul to go, as it were, to the sea. But Silas and Timotheus abode there still. And they that conducted Paul brought him unto Athens, and receiving a commandment unto Silas and Timotheus for to come to him with all speed, they departed. Now while Paul waited them at Athens, his spirit was stirred in him when he saw the city wholly given to idolatry. Therefore disputed he in the synagogue with the Jews and with the devout persons, and in the market daily with them that met with him. Then certain philosophers and Epicureans and of Stoics encountered him, and some said, what will this babbler say? So let's have a look at that word Stoics. Pertaining to the Stoic philosophy taught in Athens. A Stoic, adherent to a certain philosophy. Let's see if there's anything more. It looks like there's more. Let's got my button that can go down. Let's get into that, because that's why I came here. Stoicism teaches the development of self-control as a means of overcoming destructive emotions. The philosophy holds that becoming a clear, unbiased thinker allows one to understand the universal reason, the logos. What's the basic philosophy of Stoicism? See, principles of Stoicism: courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. Virtue is sufficient for happiness, that other so-called goods should be regarded with indifference, and that the world is providentially ordered by God. So that's faith, basically. The Stoics emphasize what you can control. The choices you make are in your character. In doing so, they use the so-called cardinal virtual values of Socrates: courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. Let's see, temperance. Temperance in its modern use is defined as a moderation or voluntary self-restraint. We know that wisdom, fear of the Most High, is the beginning of wisdom. So, courage, self-restraint, justice, and wisdom. Interesting. Anyway, going back to the adventures of Paul. Then Epicureans. Now, what Epicureans? I thought Epicureans was something to do with food. A philosopher, a helper, a defender, belonging to the sect of Epicurus. Let's find out about these Epicureans then. Let's go in. Right, so this is why it was about food. A person devoted to sensual enjoyment, especially that derived from fine food and drink. Fond of or adapted to luxury. A connoisseur of arts and life and the refinements of sensual pleasures. So they're kind of polar opposites, the Stoics and the Epicureans. And so they were all kind of interested in his gospel. So these are the great thinkers of the time, and I think one of the things we can see from that is the Stoic, from the Stoics to the Epicureans. So he had all types. From one end of philosophy to the other, they were coming, and they must have been just firing questions at him. You know what I mean? All their trickiest questions, and he'd just be batting them back. Let's see. Then certain philosophers of Epicureans and Stoics encountered him, and some said, "What will this babbler say?" Others, some, he seemeth to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preached unto them Yahushua and the resurrection. And they took him and brought him unto Areopagus, saying, May we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is? For thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know therefore what these things mean. So all these people hadn't heard of what Paul had got to say, like strange. We see when they talk about strange gods, strange being alien, without knowledge of something new, right? So he was coming with something new. So all these philosophers, from the Stoics to the Epicureans, they were like, yo, what's this? They hadn't heard of this before. This was something new to them. For thou hast bringest strange things to our ears. We would like to know, therefore, what these things mean. For all the Athenians and the strangers which were there spent time in nothing else but either to tell or to hear some new thing. So they were all into hearing what the latest philosophy was, right? Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious. For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, To the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship him. Who therefore ye ignorantly worship, him declare I unto you. God that has made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in the temples made with hands, neither is worshipped with men's hands as though he needed anything. Neither is worshipped with men's hands as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath to all things. So he's like, nothing you can give to God, you don't need it, because he made all this stuff already. So what are you doing? And hath made of one blood all nations of men, for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and have determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation, that they should seek the Lord, if haply they might feel after him, and find him, though he be not far from them, from every one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring. For as much as we are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone, graven by art and man's device. And the times of his ignorance God winked at, but now commandeth all men. So see that winked at, to wink at something, to overlook, to take no notice, not to punish. So, and in the time, so when you were ignorant, God gave you God let you slide, right? Basically, in the times of this ignorance, God winked at. So he let you slide. But now cometh now, but now Yahweh Shai has been and preached the gospel. You ain't gonna be able to. You ain't gonna get that pass, right? But now commandeth all men everywhere to repent, because he hath appointed a day in which he will judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he hath ordained. Where, and this goes back to just coming into my mind, this idea of this idea of judgment, this dies. I remember Mozart did this symphony called Requiem, and one of the ones is Dies Irae, the Day of Judgment. You know how everything is going to be dissolved in ashes as per the prophet. So, and we know that Mozart was he was up there in the Illuminati, with his magic flute. I went to see the opera The Magic Flute some time ago. I didn't get all the Freemasonic elements, but there was definitely a lot of pyramid stuff there and a lot of sun worship. And it does go into this whole idea that they think they're going to rise from the flames like a phoenix. They think they're going to come into some kind of rebirth. Well, they will be reborn, but they will be into slavery. And when he'd heard of the resurrection of the dead, that's the spirit, because we're getting into the resurrection, because he had appointed the day in which he would judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he hath ordained, whereof he hath given assurance unto all men, in that he raised him from the dead. So that's it, And when they heard of the resurrection of the dead, some mocked, and others said, We will hear thee again of this matter. So Paul departed from among them. Howbeit certain men clave unto him, and believed, among the which was Diacenus, the Areopagite, and a woman named Damaris, and others with them. So Paul would just stand up. Paul was, he didn't want to. He gets troubled. Paul gets troubled, and he even says that he wished himself accursed if he could save his. He would. Paul was, I know, man. Paul's the most brave and stoic. And let's bring it round and close. Paul was a stoic. He lived on his principles. He lived on his faith. He lived on his justice, and he lived on his temperance. And he'd go into a city, he'd have people coming after him to try and kill him, and he'd go into a city and still preach the word because he felt it was the right thing to do. And if things were difficult, he would rely on his principles, and he cared not for this or that, And he was on his mission, like there's this guy on YouTube talk about AMS, talk about staying on your purpose. Paul was on his fucking purpose, man. It wasn't nothing else in his life, and we're called to be like that. And one of the things is to, let's look at the stoicism, temperance. Do you know what I mean? Not overdoing anything. Not overdoing your eating, not overdoing your time spent with women, not giving your strength unto women. What was it? Temperance, justice, wisdom. Fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. We know Paul had that. What were the four stoic principles? 4 rules: courage, temperance, wisdom, and justice. That's all. Yeah, give not your strength unto women. Let's be courageous. Let's exercise temperance in what we eat and what we indulge in. Let's have wisdom. Wisdom is the application of knowledge, but as we know, for me, I think it's Ecclesiasticus. The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom, justice, doing the right thing, and making sure the right thing, and there's, we see in the scriptures, it often talks about winking with the eye, which is seeing the bad stuff going and not speaking up. a lot of us see stuff being taught in our schools or things being done in front of us which are against our morals. Even people outside of this truth, they hold. Jake has these morals in his bones, but they'll wink at the eye with the eye and they'll let it slide because nobody else is making a big fuss, or they drank the Babylon juice that says if you don't harm anybody, it's okay. But we know that if the watchman sees trouble coming and he bloweth not the horn, then the people's blood shall be upon him. So let's try and be stoic. Shalom.